Hello everyone, welcome back to the another session, and this video is to discuss about the differences in between algorithm, flowchart and pseudocode. Most of the times we feel confusion to define these two terms, this algorithm and pseudocode. So let me discuss these three concepts so that we won't have any confusions hereafter. Right. Now, when we are writing a program, before we construct a program or before we build a program, it's a good practice to write an algorithm and a flowchart. Right? So now, what is algorithm means? Whatever program we would like to write, that the program will be written in step by step process. So we already, I completed two videos: what is an algorithm, characteristics of an algorithm, and what is flowchart, symbols of flowchart. So as I told you just moment that it is only the differences in between these three, right? So before we write a program, we will be putting the program into step by step process to understand what are the requirements of a program to fulfill it. So algorithm mainly talks about the instructions which will be written step by step process. Now this algorithm is a formal way of defining. This algorithm is a formal way of defining, whereas pseudocode is it's an informal way of defining. Algorithm and pseudocode both are seems to be same, that if someone wanted to define algorithm, they define like this: algorithm is a step by step process where we can complete a specific task. So this is what the definition of an algorithm. And pseudocode is also having the same definition, which is pseudocode is a step by step process to complete a specific task. So both are for same definition. So how we can differentiate this? Yes, the differentiation is algorithm is formal way of representing, pseudocode is informal way of representing. Let's talk some example to have a clarity. Right. Now, I wanted to add two numbers. I wanted to add two numbers. For that, I'll write algorithm as well as pseudocode. Right. Now, look this one. You can understand what is algorithm and pseudocode. Now, algorithm to add two numbers. I told you just before that we will be going to write an algorithm to perform addition operation. Right? Addition of two integer numbers. Now, the way of writing algorithm is that we'll declare all needed variable with the data type. Look at this step, how formal it is. So the step is ensures user to take the variables which are needed and along with the data type, right? So this second step is giving the knowledge to the user to take this into this into implementation. Look at this. So the second step is giving some knowledge to the user that he has to take needed variables. What we needed, when you look at the question, there are two integer numbers what you'd like to add. So what needed variables are? Two integers. Two integers are needed, and the other integer is to store the result. Right? Now, what does mean of this second step? That we are going to take two variables and the other variable is to store the result. And we are taking this as integer as specified in the question. Okay. If that if the data type is not mentioned in the question, still you can take integer. Okay. And look at the third step in the algorithm. Once after we finished declaring the variables, then you can read the values of the variables. And that's what we did here. Read number 1 and number 2. With this step, we can get the values, and the next step, we can add those two numbers. So once after we finish the addition, we'll place into the result. If you look at all the steps of the algorithm, each and every step is in the formal way, right? Now, look at the pseudocode, how it will be informal. Now, the way we started step 1 in the algorithm, the same way we are starting in the pseudocode with the name of begin. And step 2, we are just writing need two variables. We are not telling the user whether those are declared or those are initialized. What do you mean by these two? Initialized means that you can give the value in the program. Declaring in the sense that you can declare the variable name and later you can read the value. Now, so in this statement, it is look like some informal. So that is, you can have int a is equal to 5 comma b is equal to 6, or else you can have int a comma b and scanf percentile d ampersand a comma ampersand b. These two steps you are allowed to give. I mean, this or this. This is what initialization of your variables with the values. And this is what declaring of the variables and reading the values. Fine. So as the step is concerned, we are not telling the user in a formal way to proceed either or. It is an informal way that we are just telling needed the two variables. So once after you finish the two variables, though it may be initialization or it may be declaration, then you can add two numbers. And we are not writing any formula. Look at this. Here in the algorithm, we are representing this addition with a formula. It is an formal way. Look at this. We are not mention any formula here. Once after you perform this operation, we are displaying the result and we are ending the pseudocode. Now, the differentiation in between these two, algorithm and pseudocode, is algorithm step-by-step process and to complete a specific task in formal way. Pseudocode is, it's also a step-by-step process to complete a specific task in an informal way. That's only the difference in between these two. Pseudocode, algorithm is compatible to the programming language. Pseudocode is general way of writing the algorithm. So we are not representing any of the source code here or any formulas or any data types or something which are related to stipulated programming language. So pseudocode is a generalized one, algorithm is a specific one to the programming, right? So these two are the things what we feel a little confusion to define. And this is what the clarity regarding algorithm and the pseudocode. And there is one more thing what we have to look, which is a flowchart. Flowcharters, you can refer the previous video in detail information about flowchart. Flowcharters, a graphical representation or a pictorial representation of an algorithm, right? So it is completely different. Algorithm pseudocode is maybe set to one, but flowchart is completely different. Now look at this. Flowchart is designed for algorithm. Flowchart is designed for an algorithm. So how simple it is. Just before we were discussed an example which is addition of two numbers. Once you did algorithm, it is too easy to apply flowchart. So flowchart is what? Flowchart is graphical or pictorial representation of an algorithm. What is flowchart? Pictorial or graphical or symbolic representation of an algorithm. So once you have your algorithm, then you can draw this flowchart after knowing the symbols which are required to finish it, right? In detail information you can see the video of flowchart. Okay, so with this we all got clarity what is algorithm, what is flowchart, and what is pseudocode. Thank you all.